So I'm Katie Buckett. I'm the co-founder of OneFifty Consultancy, which is a digital marketing consultancy just based in London. So I've worked in sort of broader comms and social media for quite a long time, won't say how many years. And I think it got to the point where I could see that social media was moving on from sort of just putting out a few Facebook posts and tweets. And it was very much moving towards more into a data and what we call models of human behaviour, the psychology of why people do things. And I really wanted to explore that on the one side, and I thought it was a great opportunity. On the other side, my dad ran his own business and I grew up watching him do that. And so I always thought that could be a possibility. And he was always very inspiring. And one day I wanted to do the same thing. So I was quite fortunate that I knew other people who had, one, set up their own businesses, or two, had got quite senior within the marketing industry. But still, I had to go out there and make sure I talked to more people. I think running your own business can be quite isolating sometimes. There's lots of people that don't do it, and they don't necessarily understand what you have to go through. So I think I found it was really on me to piece together information and advice from lots of different places and be quite open-minded about what people were saying. I'd probably challenge this to say I think there are challenges to anyone setting up their own business. I don't think it's a gender issue. I think I have been fortunate that I haven't felt that I've been held back, particularly because of my gender. I know that isn't the case for everyone, but I do think male, female, other, you should be encouraged to actually take that step if that's something you really want to do and go out there and do it for yourself. And I think it's having people around you that can do that. Yeah, and support you professionally and personally. It takes all of you to set up and run your own business. It's not just a work thing. Yeah. So I think one of the other things is I have been supported by, other business owners, men and women. And I think it shows a really positive step to societal change over the last 10 years. And I think that's something to encourage, and it's something that we should all hope that we see a lot more of in my industry and beyond. So my one key leadership lesson that I've learned is be open to feedback. I am not naturally very good at getting feedback. I obviously love positive feedback, but you've got to be open to not so positive feedback and listen and think about, okay, so how do I adapt and how do I get better? It's all about challenging yourself and thinking, is this the right way of doing things? Am I thinking about things in the right way? And then growing as a leader. You don't know it all at the start. You just got to do it. I think lots of people talk about setting up their own business. I think if you've got a good idea and you have got the passion and commitment that you absolutely do want to run your own business, then just do it. Don't let other things hold you back. Don't think, I might sort of test the waters and do a little bit of that. You just need to completely back yourself and go for it. Don't do it half-heartedly. That never works. Either you do it or you don't do it. So for aspiring business leaders today, my advice would be build your networks. It's so important, and it's amazing how you might not need people right at the beginning, but then they come in at different points. So the more people you know, the more people you can call on for advice or support. Also be really clear about what it is you are trying to do. So what is the idea that you have? Why is it different? Why has no one else done it before? That's always a good question to ask yourself. And be very clear on your numbers and the commercial reality of whatever it is. So I think entrepreneurship is accessible to women. I think it's for whoever you are. You really need to go out there and find the information and talk to the right people, and also accept that not all the answers are out there. I did a lot of research before setting up OneFifty, and there were all sorts of things I didn't know. There was loads of things I didn't know. And I think looking back now, I was like, actually, you just need to do it and you learn as you go through it. There's not necessarily all of the answers. But I think it's talking to people and then looking for places where you can get support, particularly around finance. I think that can be quite a daunting aspect. But we took on finance when we first started, and I think that put us 2 years ahead of where we would have been had we not taken finance at the beginning. And that is, I think, one of the most important decisions that we made. So, do you know what? I saw these stats and I thought, well, I think everyone's over-egging this a bit. So I think maybe men over-egg it more than women. But like having those skills is a pretty tough skill set to have. But I do think Sheryl Sandberg's lean in, and I think we as women should back ourselves more and look at the positives and not just think of all the reasons why you shouldn't do something. Think about all the reasons why you should. Because, I'm pretty sure I can remember 5 years ago when I was thinking, should I quit my, really good job where I've got a steady income and go and set up my own thing, which might not work? I mean, if you overthink it, you're never going to do it. So I do think you should look at other successful people who have done it and the things that they've done around it. I also think it can help if you're doing it with somebody else. I hugely admire people who set up their own business by themselves. I know enough about myself that I think there are gaps that I have that my business partner Alex does an excellent job of filling. And I think the two of us work really well together. But I wouldn't have wanted to have done it by myself.